Good Mom and Monday.
You're here at the Mistaken Mama podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Mandee.
And we are your hosts.
This week we are going to be talking about morning routines, how it used to be before kids, how it is now, and how it's changed adding more kids.
Yes.
So let's talk about our wins and fails. And we did not mention our books in the last episode, I realized. So.
Oh, you're right. We didn't.
I mean, mine hasn't changed much, but we'll talk about it now.
I finished a whole book since then.
I'm proud of you.
Not A Court of Thorns and Roses, though.
Oh, still working on that.
Still working on that one.
I understand. It's a long
but
one.
I finished it, everyone. Right. Anyways, do you want to
Okay.
go first with the wins and fails, or do you want me to go first?
I guess I can start. So the last time we recorded was actually on 4th of July.
Yes.
So that evening we went to Michael's family's house and had a little celebration, I guess, barbecue. I don't know what you would call it. And the win is that the kids did really good the whole time they were there. Quincy was a little bit like stranger danger the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
But,
which, I mean, understandable. It's 7 months
she's
old.
just kind of that age. But other than that, they did really good. There was no like crying or anything. However, the fail is when we first got there, Maverick fell and skinned his knee pretty bad.
Oh, is that what the on his knee is?
Yeah.
I was asking him about that. He goes, owie.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a big owie. It was bleeding pretty good, but yeah. And then the second part to that fail is, so the sparklers, he did fine with the first one. And then the second one, I think maybe a spark kind of like flew back and hit his hand or something. Because then from then on it was hot. No, he didn't want to do it.
Oh.
And so after a little while, we gave him another one to just see if he would like to. And he was holding it, and he was like, no, hot. And he drops it in the grass, and the little patch of grass that it was on, like, caught fire for a second.
Oh, no.
And we were all standing there, so we just, like, stomped it out and put water on it and whatever. But, yeah, I was like, okay, my son's trying to start fire. So that was my little win fail from 4th of July.
Speaking of 4th of July fails, and this isn't mine, but there was an entire power outage in our town. Some people were thinking that it had, because English, there was a fire at the plant that provides power for everybody. Yeah. Some people were saying that it was caused by a firework.
That, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yep, early in the morning, because it was at like 6:50 a.m. or something like that it happened.
And I think we just had like a red flag warning that it's like high chance for fires right now because of how the wind and the heat and everything's going on.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry that he got the owies.
Yeah, it's okay. He had a lot of fun, but he was just kept getting hurt.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
My wins and fails kind of go hand in hand, but they're not the 4th of July. Actually, the day prior.
Okay.
So the day prior to 4th of July, the 3rd, is my husband's birthday. He turned 28. And
happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Thomas. And I was going to make him like a big old steak dinner or whatever. Well, I didn't realize that I didn't have a steak in the freezer.
Whoopsies.
So I was like, well, shit. What the heck am I going to do? I had just gone over to my grandpa's house and, with his permission, raided his garden. And I took a zucchini home. I was going to make him like, fried zucchini and steak with like potatoes and like a bunch of stuff, right?
Sounds yummy.
Bullshit, I don't have this stuff to do it. So I was like looking around the fridge. I'm like, I don't want to make him chicken. He's not a big chicken fan, so like that's a crappy birthday dinner.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna try something. And so my fail was that I didn't have that stuff for dinner. Here's my win. I have made bread before, and I'm a decent cook. So I decided that I was going to make homemade hamburger buns.
Okay.
I sent you the picture of this.
Yeah.
Homemade burgers. And then I made breaded and deep fried zucchini. So I used a zucchini. And then with the potatoes, I made homemade French fries.
Yum.
It was so good.
I didn't realize you made those buns when you sent me that picture. They looked really good.
Oh, yeah. Homemade those.
Nice.
Homemade sesame buns. Never made buns before in my life. The proportions of them are a little wonky.
Okay.
So for next time, I know a little kind of better about what I should do next time to make that less of a problem. And they didn't rise as much as I was hoping, but they were still really good.
Yeah.
When I gave it to him, cut the bun in half so that you have the top bun and a bottom bun. Give him 2 patties, pepper jack cheese, and some bacon that I made up too.
Yum.
All of his stuff. Gave him his plate. And at first, I think he was skeptical because I've also never made homemade burgers.
Oh, okay.
Whenever we do like the homemade burgers and we make our own patties, he's always the one to do it.
Okay.
And so this was 100% me.
So he's like,
He's a little skeptical.
Yeah.
Yep. He takes a big old bite and he goes, okay, I'm going to just give it to you straight and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I was just like,
great.
And I hadn't taken a bite yet at this point because I wanted him to take a bite first. I'm like, oh, great. Literally everything on this burger aside from the cheese and the bacon are homemade.
Yeah.
Maybe I sucked at seasoning it. Maybe it just is doughy. Maybe it's dry. Something, And he goes, this is the best goddamn burger I've ever had. I'm like, oh my God.
Yay.
And then he kept talking about it all night.
Win.
Yeah, it did turn into a win. And it was like a several hour long endeavor because I had to start the buns at like 3 o'clock. Because they take hours.
They have to rise and stuff,
I mean, granted, a lot of that's very passive time, but still. And then we didn't eat until almost 7.
Okay,
and so like 4 hours worth of prepping and doing things, cutting the bacon, cutting the fries, mixing up the patties, and all of that stuff. But he said he really liked the burger. So I'm really glad that it worked out and that he enjoyed it and that it wasn't a major fail.
Yeah, it seems like it worked out pretty good.
It did. Mm-hmm. But so yeah, he really liked the burger. I'm really glad that it didn't end up as like a huge, massive fail. And especially with it being a lot of different things that I was doing for the very first time. Like I'd never done the fried zucchini like that before. Or the breaded fried zucchini. I've never done the burger patties myself, and I've never done the buns. Yeah. So I'm just really glad that it worked out.
Yeah, it sounds like it did. Did you deep fry the zucchini, or were they like in a pan fried?
So we don't have a deep fryer, but I did use a lot of oil. So
okay.
Yes and no.
Yeah. I think that's called like shallow frying.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. I feel like it always feels good when you try something new, like cooking wise, and it turns out actually really good.
Yes. Yeah. I get a lot of satisfaction from cooking. I'm someone who enjoys like the instant satisfaction or instant gratification. Cooking gives that to me.
Right, yeah.
But then if I fuck it up, then I'm like sad the rest of the day.
Oh, same. That's like when we recently had COVID and I lost my taste and smell. It's really hard to season something when you can't taste nor smell it. So
were you the only one that lost it?
Yep, this time. Last time, Michael and I both did. So yeah, it's really hard to cook when you can't taste anything.
Did you get your stuff back already?
Yes. It came back really fast this time.
Okay.
Last time
I
lost it like
forever.
like 2 or 3 weeks. This time it came back within like 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was funny because Michael had made me a steak dinner like 2 nights after we were like better. And I was like, the texture's great.
But you couldn't taste it.
Couldn't taste. I could taste like salt. And I could taste if something was sour. But that's it.
So you just got salty
meat. So
meat.
I would get like, but not the meat flavor. So I would just get salt with meat texture. And I was like, it's delicious, I think. And he's like, this is like the best steak I've made in a long time. And I was like,
pick a bad day to make it then.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, yeah. But it's back now. So
well, that's good.
Yeah.
So what about books? You said you haven't got far.
No. So the whole time we were on vacation, I didn't read.
I mean, understandably.
Because during the day we were busy, and then we were so exhausted at night that there was just no time. And then when I was sick, I had such a bad migraine that, again, I was not reading. So for probably like 2.5 weeks, I was not reading. So I'm only like 19% into the book.
If you don't remember, she's reading the second Crescent City book.
Crescent City 2. Yeah. 19% into like an 800-page book.
Which is insane.
Which is like nothing. Yeah.
I'm a little bit further in the Court of Silver Flames.
Okay.
I did finish a book, though.
Which book?
I mean, to be fair, it's an audiobook.
Okay.
I should preface that. But I read Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Oh, was it good?
Good question.
Oh, okay.
Yes and no.
Okay.
I've never read a memoir before, so I'm not 100% sure how that's supposed to go. Her I liked the way that the writing kind of seemed to change as she got older in the memoir. Like, in the early stages of it, a lot of her vocabulary was very childish.
Okay.
Which, I mean, she was
a child, yeah.
You know, when she's describing these things. And then as she got older, her vocabulary started to evolve more. I'm not the biggest fan of I walked into the room. I turned on the light. Like, the very...
Like... Steps.
Choppy, yeah. And that book was full of it.
Okay.
I think it kind of helped that it was her narrating it, so it still felt like she was telling the story versus somebody else telling somebody else's story.
Right.
And it was dark.
Was it? I heard that it was...
It's a lot.
It brought to light a lot of things.
Yeah, and... A lot of people gave it like a bunch of negative criticism for like it's just another child star talking about how she was abused. And it's like, I mean, that's a common theme.
I was going to say, but that's pretty intense. Like, they're not just saying it for funsies.
Yeah. And you know how did you ever watch iCarly?
A little bit.
Did you ever kind of feel like she had a very dry voice?
Very.
And personality in general, she just kind of was just like, the honest here, the honest is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
At least as far as what I'm understanding. And she talked very similarly.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it was an intense book, and I'm glad that I read it.
Okay.
I don't know if I would ever read a memoir again, depending.
Would you suggest it to other people, aka me?
I mean, if you were a big iCarly person, then I would say, yeah. If you aren't somebody who really watched it very much, then it might kind of seem redundant.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you don't know much about it.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
And so I'm not sure how much iCarly
there was
watched
a lot of
up.
hype about it, so I was like, well, maybe I will read it. But it was like, if iCarly was on, I would have it on, but it wasn't like, oh my god, it's on, I need to watch it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I really liked the character Sam, and so when I saw that, she had quit, she had an eating disorder, she had a lot of things going on, and she wrote this book, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm actually interested in that.
Yeah. Okay.
And
fair.
I liked it, and
yeah,
I thought it was interesting. Morning routines.
Good old morning routines.
Oh, yes. My first question is, have you or do you have a consistent morning routine?
I guess in general, yes, but no.
Okay.
Like, we try to get the same things done, but is it like the same time every day? Is it always the same thing every day? No. But like, so I guess we'll start off with the kids typically wake up at between 8 and 9. And I always feel really weird saying that.
Why?
Because I feel like most people's kids wake up between like 5 and 6.
Oh, and like in the morning?
Yeah.
I have experienced bits of that. All of my children collectively decided to wake up at like 8:45 today.
Okay.
Or 8:30. I had to leave at 8:45 with one of them.
Yeah.
So that was stressful.
You had to bust ass.
Bust ass to get ready this morning. But yeah, all of them woke up 8:30.
I don't know. I guess I always hear like moms are like, oh, my kids always wake up at 5 a.m. and that's hard. And like growing up, my brothers always woke up super early. And even I woke up pretty early as a kid. So I always feel like when I tell people like my kids don't wake up till 8 or 9, they're always like, wow, so they sleep in. But I guess the flip side to that is my kids typically don't go to bed till like 10 o'clock, sometimes later.
Yeah.
So they're really getting the same amount of sleep. It's just like a different time frame,
And we will get into bedtime routines next week.
Yeah.
So you can kind of hear a little bit about that. But yes, that's kind of my experience there too. The early to bed, early to rise, late to bed, late to rise.
Right.
Kind of thing.
So I would say that for the most part, our routine goes between 8 and 9 is when we wake up. And then usually we try to get some sort of breakfast going pretty right away. But sometimes we don't until like 10 o'clock because kids.
Yeah.
We very much kind of, again, maybe this sounds weird, but we let our kids kind of dictate our day as far as like when we eat or when we, wake up in the morning or, so forth, however that goes. So I don't know. I guess I'm kind of willy-nilly with my mornings.
Kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, I try to keep it consistent as far as like at some point there's breakfast, at some point there's cleaning, and at some point there's diaper changes. That's at least how it's been going recently. Mm-hmm. What about you?
Yeah, so for us, our wake up times kind of vary. Sometimes the kids decide they want to wake up at 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't wake up until after 9 o'clock. Like, you know, it varies. Yeah. And a lot of it depends on, like, if kids took a late nap or something and then they go to bed later and so on and so forth, or vice versa. And whenever they do wake up, if a diaper change is needed, they usually get one right away. And then we don't really do like a big breakfast. I know that's something you guys do though.
Usually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We don't.
Yeah.
We typically do stuff like that like once a week, where we'll pick a day and then that's the day that we make French toast or pancakes or something like that.
Right.
And so every other day it's either like scrambled eggs, freezer waffles, or cereal, oatmeal, something along those lines. We don't do like the big breakfast thing.
Yeah.
I'm also not somebody who eats breakfast. Right. Like rarely at all. I do drink my coffee though.
Yeah.
And so, you know, my morning routine kind of, it falls around I make myself coffee at whatever time that I get up and then they eat whatever breakfast that they want. Damon is almost always oatmeal.
Yeah.
That's his favorite thing, the meal.
Oh. Maverick loves some oatmeal too.
Anna pronounced it Opino for the longest time.
That's so cute.
Want some Opino. And then Damon is meal. I think
I'm trying to even think how Maverick even says it. I think he just says oatmeal. Oatmeal.
Oatmeal, wherefore the oatmeal.
That's funny.
And then I'll clean up. Sometimes we'll do the dishes right away if it's needed to get done. And then they will either go find something quiet to do because usually they aren't, very rarely are all three waking up at the same time. Mm-hmm. There's almost always somebody still asleep. And usually it's Ellie who's still asleep. And we try to find something quiet to do. Sometimes they'll watch a movie or something first thing. Something along those lines.
So you said that they don't all wake up at the same time?
Correct.
Was that different when you just had to?
No.
They would still wake up at different times?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's always been a consistent reality for me.
Both of mine wake up within like 5 minutes of each other.
Mine don't.
So we just lay there until the other one wakes up?
Nope.
I think there's been like one time where Quincy slept in like an hour later, and there was one time that Maverick slept like half an hour later, but for the most part.
No.
Okay.
Not at my house. Sometimes one of them will wake up at 6. And then somebody else doesn't wake up till 8. And then the other person doesn't wake up until like 9:30.
Weird.
And we try to stay quiet during that entire time.
Yeah.
It's hard when it's Damon who's the first one awake because he doesn't understand the be quiet part.
Yep.
And so for him, my go-to is to, don't judge me, put on a show for him first thing, or else he will just play loud.
Yep.
Because he doesn't understand the, hey, you need to be quiet. Someone's trying to sleep.
Right.
He will just grab blocks and just dump them out. Or grab his dinosaurs and roar.
Yep. Oh, Maverick, when you tell him, shh, we have to be quiet, he goes, no, shh. No, shh.
Damon will. He'll be like, oh, okay. Okay, mommy. And then he'll turn around and just loud all of a sudden. I'm like, no. We got to be quiet. And he goes, oh, dang, mommy.
That's the only way I can get him to be quiet is if I whisper. And I talk to him like this, we got to be quiet. And he goes, okay. Like he looks at me confused, like, why are we doing this?
Yeah. Damon's only quiet, like, during that conversation, though. Because as soon as I turn around or he turns around, it's back to being loud.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't stick with him.
That sounds about right. Maverick's kind of my quiet boy, though, too.
That's Anna for me. Firstborns.
Firstborns, I guess they know how to entertain themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
The secondborns. I haven't had a third yet, but the secondborns, man, mine's wild.
So is mine.
Mine's only 7.5 months, and she's already showing her wild, and I'm just like, ah.
And then Ellie, on the other hand, it's very...
I feel like she's in between.
She's kind of in between. She has bouts of being crazy.
Yeah.
But for the most part, she's pretty chill.
I feel like she'll be content by herself. And yeah.
She's also, like, just ridiculously shy.
Is that the pattern?
Maybe.
Calm, psycho. Just kidding.
I mean, it just means that all of our kids are going to be balancing each other out.
True. Fair.
Because if Damon and Maverick are the pair, and then Ellie and Quincy are the pair, at least they're kind of opposites.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
guess it works out.
I mean, yeah.
Balances out somehow. Yeah.
So what was your routine like before you had kids?
Before we had kids? Well, before we had kids, I would say on days off where we both didn't work, we would sleep in until literally whenever. Because we were night owls, so we would stay up super late. So we would wake up at like 11, noon, you know, which I had a love-hate for because, well, half your day's gone.
Yeah.
And half of your day, like, even though we did stay up late, half of our day of, like, when other people are up and about or when, like, stores are open or when things are open, half of that's gone. And then we were always slow to get up and, like, we would just kind of, you know, make coffee, we would make food, we would just kind of hang around the house, unless we had plans that day. And so then by the time we're, like, up, ready, dressed, clothed, food, it'd be like 3:00. And then so if we want to go do something, you have just such a small time frame. I definitely, it's hard for me to wake up early, but I prefer to be up early.
I know what you mean.
It's weird.
I hate waking up early. I hate the feeling of just being so tired still. But then you have the entire day to get stuff done.
Yeah. And I wish that, I think it'd be if my body would just wake up naturally at like 6:30 or 7. That'd be perfect. If I have to set an alarm for 6:30 or 7, I'm snoozing that alarm. Yeah. Or I'm turning it off if my kids are still asleep. You know what I mean?
Same.
And so it's just, I find a challenge in that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I really do.
What was your guys' routine like before?
So there wasn't a long time where me and him were living together prior to us inviting a child into the home. You know? But what did exist during that time was, sort of similar. On days that we had off, both of us, we would kind of wake up whenever, although our whenever was not usually that late. Typically it was closer to like 10. So it was still, not far off from what we do now. Right. And there was a rare occasion. There was one day in particular. We woke up at like 2:30 p.m.
Oh, we've had that happen. It feels so good, but it feels so bad.
It throws you off.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then we would kind of just like, slow start to the day. Same with you guys. And usually days like that would just kind of be at home. We didn't do a whole lot outside of the home unless it was like going over to like his mom's or something, which I hated. I didn't hate it originally. Right. Whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah. Actually, when we first moved in together, technically we lived at his mom's.
Oh, right.
And so my days off actually revolved completely around what they were doing. Right. And if I wanted breakfast, I had to eat it when everybody else was up. Right. If breakfast was over, breakfast was over.
Ugh. I hate that.
Yeah. I wasn't really allowed any kind of free reign around the house or anything like that. And we didn't have a fridge of our own or anything. So.
Oh, so it was their food.
It was all of their food. Yeah. We had to contribute to it, but it wasn't ours.
That sounds dumb.
The reasoning behind it, I kind of understand because we got to eat things that we didn't buy. Oh, okay. They got to eat things that we buy. Then the shitty thing is if like I bought myself a thing of cereal that I wanted, it would be gone within 2 days and I wouldn't have gotten any of it.
So see, then that's not fair.
That's not fair. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it's over now.
It's over now. Yeah. That was years ago. But yeah, and then I would sometimes get some criticisms if I didn't wake up by a certain time. And so I kind of trained myself to wake up at a decent amount of, like, decent time into the morning. Yeah. So that I didn't get the, you're being lazy bullshit. Yep. And so on the days that we had off together while we were living with his mom, though, again, still all dictated around whatever she wanted to do or his sisters wanted to do, and I didn't really get a say. And then when we moved in by ourselves, we were only together there for just around a year.
Okay.
Before we had Anna.
Okay.
And that was a lot of adjusting. We were really off schedule with each other for months. And we worked different shifts.
Yeah.
I worked like the opening shift at Starbucks at the time, so I was getting up at like 3 or 4 in the morning. He was working like the mid-morning to early afternoon, starting and then closing at the place that he was working at.
Oh, right.
And he worked at Applebee's at the time, and so he would start at like 11 and then would close at like 1 a.m.
Right.
And then, so there was like a big cycle of time where we were not around each other hardly at all. And then there was like several months where he was working for the fire service too, where I just didn't see him at all.
Yeah.
So our morning routine back then kind of didn't exist.
We had a period of time where Michael was working night shift and I was working swing shift. So literally the only time we had were a few hours in the morning. And by morning, I mean like between like 9 and noon, where we would try to squeeze in something. Usually it was just eating and like hanging out.
Yeah, that's kind of what ours was too. If we had that, overlap of time, which usually my shift at Starbucks didn't end until after his had already began. And so I never saw him. Sometimes I would actually just go to the restaurant
and just hang out
and just
there.
go sit there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I could sit close to the kitchen, and then if it got slow, he could come out and talk to me.
Yeah.
Or I would just go there, and then when he got to have his meal, we would share the meal together, and then I would just get him something else when he got home so that I could still eat and he could eat.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then we got to eat again when we got home.
Yeah.
But yeah, the morning routine kind of shifted around depending on if we both had the day off or if we didn't.
Like work schedules and stuff. Yeah.
And then obviously working morning routines are very different than day off morning routines.
Very
different.
I would say the one thing that I really miss from not having kids in the morning, where I love a slow morning.
Yeah.
Where you can just, drink your coffee, you can have some music playing, like things are mellow, it's quiet, it's calm. That's why I wish that I could wake up earlier than the kids so I could still have that.
Yes. Dogs. Yeah, but on the days that I do end up waking up earlier than them, sometimes Thomas's alarm wakes me up and then I can't go back to sleep. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm just up.
Right.
Go make myself some coffee, read or write, something along those lines, and then I get to just be up.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's nice.
It's so nice. But then it's like immediate chaos once the kids wake up. And then it's just like literally elephants rushing into the room.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, in Maverick in the morning, he used to want to lay there with us for like sometimes half an hour or more. And he would just lay and snuggle. Now it's like 5 minutes, if that. And then he immediately wants out of the room. And that half an hour was usually like the time where I could slowly wake up, or if I, still was super tired, I could just lay there and sleep with him while he was just awake, just snuggling me. And now it's like the second he wakes up, he's like, Mom, wake up.
Yep.
And I'm like, literally to the point, like my eyes can't stay open yet because I'm still like half asleep. And I'll tell him I'm trying.
Yeah, I'll wake up, or Damon will wake up and he'll come in. I'm like, Mommy, morning time. Open your eyes. I've even had him quite literally open my eyes.
Maverick
physically.
will just grab the top of my eyelid and he pulls it open, and I'm just like, dude.
Yes. And doesn't Maverick still sleep in your guys' room?
Yeah, both of them do. Yeah. So, which I think is why they wake up at the same time.
That's what I was thinking.
Because sometimes he'll wake up and she'll be asleep, but he rolls over to try to snuggle me and she's right against me. And so then he like is bumping into her and
Jostling
then she's
her
like,
around.
oh, I'm awake.
Yeah.
Or she'll wake up and she loves her brother.
Oh.
So she will see him sleeping and she goes, ah, and she'll crawl over to him and like bat him, and then he's awake. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I only have the one in the room right now, and so I think that might be contributing to why everybody wakes up at different times.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anna and Damon do share a room.
True.
Granted, when Anna wakes up, she's pretty quiet. She understands that, hey, someone's asleep, so shut up.
Right. Keep it down.
And like even this morning, she woke up at, like I said, 8:30. Damon didn't wake up until almost right before I left, so like 8:45. So there was like, 15 minutes. But she was really quiet. She's like, okay, I'll be quiet now.
Yeah. Are you, for yourself, are you a get ready in the morning, like take a shower in the morning, or are you a take a shower at night so that you're ready in the morning?
I prefer to take my showers at night. I don't like the whole my hair is wet part of that.
Right.
But showers tend to relax me more than they tend to wake me up. And so if I take one in the morning,
then you're relaxed.
I am down and out for the count.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I have a really hard time getting ready right after that. And I think it's just like, because I take, like, my showers exist in the devil's asshole. It is hot.
Spicy.
Very, very hot water. Like, on like occasion, like Thomas will come into the shower or whatever, and he'll touch the water and he'll whereas I'm like, no, it's great.
That's funny. See, we're opposite. Michael's like a scalding shower, and I'm like I will get to hot, but I have to start slow.
Oh no, turn it up.
And in the summer, it's almost always, this is gonna freak people out, it's almost always like a cold shower.
Blech.
I know.
Nope, I can do the hot even in the summer.
Ugh.
Granted, we have a AC that is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So our house is cool even when it's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So
mine's like pool water.
Jesus Christ, Mandee. Gross. But I can't do the showers in the morning. I do, if I have to, I will. Like this past Tuesday when we were going to record the podcast, I took a shower in the morning. But man, it just makes my start just take so much longer.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I like to shower in the morning, but I like to just do a body shower in the morning.
It makes sense.
And then if I wash my hair, sometimes I do it during the morning, but if I wash my hair, I like to do that in the evening. Because I don't want to dry my hair. And if I don't have to go anywhere, then you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm also somebody that I tend to put my hair up a lot. Same. I need to just shave my head again.
Same.
Can't tell you how big the urge is to just shave it all off again and just be done with it.
Yeah.
But I want my long hair back, so I'm not doing that, sadly. But I feel like if I were to shower and wash my hair, I'm going to just be wanting to put it back up all day. And I don't like putting my hair up if I've just washed it.
Right. Because you want to experience the nice clean hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah. I feel like I always have a good like week or two where I'm doing my hair every day. Or at least to some extent. And then it's like a month of, fuck it, my hair's up.
Yeah, that's kind of what I have. And I've been trying really hard not to put my hair in buns as much anymore because I don't want the breakage. And so I'm
I know.
Like, I don't know if you guys can tell, I've got like a clip back here.
I'm fully damaging bun.
And if I do put my hair up, I try to do scrunchies because they're a little better.
Yeah, I mostly do scrunchies right now. I'm not, because if I do a high bun with a scrunchie, it will just fall out because I can't get the scrunchie tight enough on my hair.
Fair.
But these are like it's like the coily.
I love the coily ones.
Yeah, the coily ones. That's what I have in my hair. They hold
so good.
You don't have to put them that tight, and they hold.
Yeah.
And I feel like
they have a
less damaging.
Yes.
In a sense. They don't pull my hair. Like when I take it out, there's no pull or anything.
Nope.
So
those are scrunchies.
Yeah.
I don't like to use like the actual like rubber bands anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not rubber bands, but like with like the string around.
The normal hair ties.
Yeah.
The black ones.
The black or the brown. Yep.
Yeah.
If you're using a beige one, who are you? I mean, you're probably blonde.
You're probably blonde. Yeah. I think that was a loud squeak.
Sorry.
I prefer to take my showers in the morning. They do wake me up a bit. Okay. If I take my shower in the evening, I'm like a hot steamy shower, come out lotiony. Like, see, I'm trying to relax if I'm taking a shower at night.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I can't do the cold shower thing.
Okay.
I can't. Can't convince myself to.
Especially for a hot day, it just starts my whole day with, I'm a little bit cold. And now when the sun comes out, I'm not like, oh, I just took a hot ass shower. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of gives me the same feeling of, when you go swimming at like the lake or something and it's really cold, and then the rest of the day it could be 90 8 degrees and you're like,
I mean, I don't swim in lakes,
I'm chilled.
but I swim
I don't swim in lakes a lot, but
pools have kind of
pools
the same
kind of do the
sometimes.
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay.
I guess the shower kind of gives me that same little oomph to a hot day.
Okay. You're not entirely crazy.
I mean, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just explaining myself.
Well, yeah, you're not going to convert me.
I was going to say, I don't think I'm going to convert you.
No. You have converted me for the reading in the bathtub. I did that one time so far. Once.
Was it good?
It was nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Relaxing.
It was interrupted, but it was nice for a while. The 5 minutes while it lasted.
That's also showers for me. Interruption central.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My showers. That's also one of the reasons why I don't do showers in the morning is because they get interrupted more often than not. And so when I do my evening showers,
they're interruption free.
Everybody is either content or asleep.
Yep. I agree.
So
same for me.
Because I'll wait until the older 2 kids are laying down in their room and they're not going to come back out again unless they need something, but Thomas can deal with it at that point. And then if Ellie is awake, Thomas has got her.
Right.
And if she's not awake, great.
Yeah.
Those are days that I end up with a guest in my shower sometimes.
Yep.
What? This isn't the sex talk. What are we doing?
That was a few weeks ago. So are you a clean in the morning or clean in the evening kind of person?
I must clean first thing or I will not do it.
That's the same for me. There's like a certain point, and for us it's usually like after breakfast, right before lunch. If I don't get things done by then, that point, like right before lunch, probably not getting done.
Yeah. I try
especially in the summer.
Yeah. I try to live by the motto of like right before bed, we clean up the toys in the living room and we load up the dishwasher so that I can run overnight. Same with having a load of laundry go overnight. But outside of that, I have a lot of time, or I have a hard time. English is apparently not my strong suit today. I have a hard time finding the motivation to clean during the day unless it is first thing in the morning. Right. And I mean like before I've had coffee first thing. If I sit down with a cup of coffee, I'm down and out.
Yep. I'm the exact same way. In our house, I've mentioned this before, we have 2 dogs and a cat. We vacuum every day. And right now, in prime shedding season, we vacuum twice a day. So that's usually like the first thing, especially now that Quincy is crawling all over the floor. She, last night, so we had only vacuumed once yesterday. So there was a ton of hair on the floor by the end of the night. And we looked down the hall and Quincy's just sitting there with a mound of hair, half in her mouth.
Oh no.
Half just on her, half in her hands. And she's just like just so happy that she just found this wad of hair.
Oh my gosh.
I'm constantly pulling nasty wads of hair out of her mouth.
Ugh,
this summer season.
Oh, gross. Yeah.
So yeah, cleaning in the morning is like
it's a must.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at your morning routine, and we talked a little bit about like social media and like what that looks like. Do you ever sit there and compare your morning routine to like somebody else's?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. I feel like a lot of things that pop up for me, social media wise, is the mom who wakes up before the kids, will have like a whole ass workout done.
Yeah.
The lunch is prepped, dinner is thawing, the breakfast is being cooked, but she's already had her smoothie and whatever.
She's also showered, got dressed, and done her makeup.
Makeup, hair. Like, where are you finding all this time?
Girlfriend's got to be waking up at 2 a.m.
She's got to be waking up so early.
Especially when it's like my kids woke up at 7:30 and I'm like,
yeah,
how did you get this all done?
Right? Well, and my thing is too is if I do wake up early before the kids, there's no way I can do all of that without waking them up.
Right? I mean, these people must have some huge houses.
They might.
I definitely do not.
Yeah.
I move a pan in my kitchen and everybody's awake.
Yeah. So in our room, especially in the summer, it's kind of nice because we have an AC in our room. So if that's going, you basically can't hear anything that's going on out here unless you're being really loud. Yeah. So if I get up early and the AC is going, then I'm able to do some things around the house. But at the same time, I can't hear the kids either.
Yeah.
And now Quincy's to an age where she will crawl off the bed. She has not yet, knock on wood, but she will.
That's one reason why I like that we have the indoor cameras is because I can literally just pull open whatever room that I need to be looking at and just prop it right there on the counter while I'm cleaning or doing something.
Right, yeah.
Thankfully, Ellie has now learned to turn herself around when she goes to crawl off. Good. Finally.
I love that stage.
Me too. It's scary when they first start doing it and they're like half hanging off of a piece of furniture and they're like, I don't know how to get down. I'm like, just a little further, and then they just topple completely over and you're like, no.
Yeah, see, Maverick, he would be crawling towards the edge and he'd look over and he'd be like, oh, not gonna do that. So he'd sit. He would never try to like go off or anything. He would realize at a pretty young age that this isn't good.
This is a long fall.
This is a
That's
big
back
drop.
when you had the big bed.
Yeah. Quincy, she would dive off everything if she could. I don't know how many times we've caught her by the foot when she's just like zoomed away from us super fast. Like, this girl has no fear.
Oh, goodness.
Has no fear. And she has taken a dive off the couch several times because she just has no fear. And I know people are saying like, well, just don't have her on the couch. Well, she wants to be in my lap all the time. She is the strangest child. She wants to be on me, but not. Because if I set her down on the floor, she screams. But if I hold her, she wants out of my lap. And she wants to crawl. So I set her next to me. And then she's content. And then she wants to dive bomb off the couch. I'm just like... So we've sometimes put like pillows there and she'll just flop onto it. And then she's like totally fine. And I'm like, what is going on with these kids?
She's going to be an Olympic swimmer, apparently.
It's rough.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. But yeah, cameras.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about getting them and then we just haven't. But it would come in handy. I definitely want to get one for the kids' room.
Yeah. I find good use for them. I enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what other morning shenanigans go on.
I mean, as far as like the morning routine goes, nighttime routine, and we'll get into this a little bit next week, it has a cutoff. There's an obvious, the routine's over, it's bedtime. Right. The morning routine, however,
goes into the lunch routine.
It has a pretty seamless transition into other things. So it's like, where exactly does the morning routine end?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like for us, it's like, it feels like the morning from when we wake up is just go, 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 go until lunch. And then we eat lunch, and then usually that's when Maverick is like content to, watch a movie, or he'll quietly play, or occasionally he'll still nap. Quincy will usually nap at that point. And so I feel like then we kind of mellow out a little bit, but then we get into the crazy evenings, which we'll talk about next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. So mornings, they can be, I think it's going to be different for everybody too. Like if you're a working mom, too, that's going to look really different for us, because we're stay-at-home moms. So ours looks different.
Drastically different, yeah.
And then obviously, like, if your husband works, like mine does. And I know yours does too.
Yeah, he just has a lot more flexibility in his schedule.
Yeah, whereas mine is not. I wake up and my husband's already gone on the days that he works those shifts. Those days look different for me. And so I'm curious for you guys. What does your morning routine look like? Is it something that is super consistent? Are you super, I don't want to use the word strict with it, but
like
consistent,
scheduled?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or are you just more go with the flow? Are there things that is like a must have for your morning routines? Or did you hear something that we said that you're like, oh, I never thought about that?
Right. Or for those of you who have the like social media mornings.
Yeah.
Can you like give us some hints?
Yes, please.
Some tips? Is it real life? Are you just putting on a show? Like, what is this?
Mandee, are you calling out our viewers?
I mean, I might be if you can't give me a good answer. I'm just kidding. I just want to know. Maybe they just have a little bit more motivation.
Maybe.
Because I guess if I busted butt and got up early, like, I probably could get those things done. But every morning, like, that sounds exhausting.
I feel like I would just be worn out right afterwards. I'd be
with
like,
2
all right,
kids,
I'm ready to go back to sleep.
And you have 3? Like,
yeah.
That just sounds like a lot.
It does. And I'm not ready for that. I don't know if I want to get there. I would love some tips and tricks, though, on just the time management of that.
Yeah.
Like, if nothing else, how the heck do they manage that time? Especially because a lot of times they'll be like, oh, yeah, my kids wake up at 7:30, and they're waking up at, like, 6.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you doing all of that in a half an hour?
You got a 30-minute workout done, showered, got dressed, makeup done, you've had your breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, I'm impressed. I really am. Assuming
if
that
this
it's
is
true.
really happening, like, I am impressed.
Yeah, and I would love to hear some tips and tricks.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If any of you guys, if that's something that you guys do, I would love to know.
Let us know.
And then if not, then join us next week for when we talk about bedtime routines.
The scary nighttime.
Which, for us, that's way more consistent than our mornings.
Ours kind of is.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow us on all of our socials. Check out the links in the description. Like, comment, share with someone who might enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you just click the button that says share and you click copy link, technically you don't even have to share it and it still helps us out. But you should share it anyways.
Please. We're not begging here.
Please.
Please.
It helps.
Please. All right. We will see you guys next week.
See you next week.